We will now look at the role of a peri-operative nurse in recovery. Once a patient has been transferred to recovery, this should be reflected on the peri-operative tracking board under the status column showing as in recovery. Once we can see this, we can open up the patient's profile by navigating to the blue arrow to the left-hand side and double-clicking. Now that the patient's profile is open, we will look at the different assessments available to complete in recovery. To the left-hand side, we have the table of content menu. Navigate to assessment/fluid balance and left-click. The assessment/fluid balance page then opens. Here we can see all the different navigator bands containing relevant assessments for each speciality. The first thing we are going to do is configure the navigator bands to show all relevant recovery assessments. To do this, select View in the grey toolbar at the top. At the bottom of the menu that appears, select Layout and then Navigator bands. Select each navigator band that you would like to remove, just like so. And then click the arrow pointing to the left-hand side in the middle. Once that has been done, on the left-hand side, select the relevant navigator bands you would like to see. In this instance, we would like the recovery, lines, tubes, devices, and recovery systems assessments. So select lines, tubes, devices, and recovery systems assessments, and then click the arrow pointing to the right-hand side in the middle. Once you are happy, select OK, and a prompt appears instructing us to close and restart the application. As an alternative, you can close the patient's profile and then reopen. Once the patient's profile is open, navigate back to assessment/fluid balance, and the navigator bands should configure. We can now see all the updated navigator bands on the left-hand side. We will now look at different assessments available to complete. Select recovery assessments, and all available assessments can be seen here. The first assessment we'll be completing is the artificial airway. Select this, and the content appears here in the middle. To document this information, under the relevant time, double-click the blue highlighted box to initiate a tick. Only once we've seen this tick can we now document this information. Document as necessary. Once happy, select the green tick to save this information. Once the documented data has gone from purple to black, we know that this documentation has been saved correctly. The next assessment that will be completed is the recovery departure assessment, which is done upon patient departing recovery to return to the ward. Again, to complete this, select recovery departure and double-click the highlighted box under the relevant time and document as necessary. Once happy, select the green tick to save this information. documented. Once the recovery departure assessment has been completed, the next thing to do is the handover documentation. To do this, navigate to the perioperative nurse section in the table of content. And select the Recovery PACU Workflow page. On the left hand side, we have the Components menu. Navigate to Handover Details in the grey Components menu, in which we can see a free text box. In the free text box, we can now document the details we would like to be handed over to the ward staff. I will input a brief note as an example. Once you are happy with the documented information, select Save to ensure no information can be lost. At this moment in time, the information inputted into the free text box is only viewable by yourself. To make this available to review by all members of staff, a document must be created. To do this, select Recovery PACU Handover Note in the bottom left corner. In which a pre-templated document containing relevant information opens. Scroll to the bottom of the document to confirm that the information you have completed has pulled through accurately. Once happy, select Sign/Submit. The Sign/Submit note pop-up then appears. Here we can modify the note title if necessary. Once happy, select Sign in the bottom right corner, and you will be reverted back to the patient's homepage. Refresh to update your screen. And the document can now be found in the document section, available for all users to review. Next, we will look at administering medication. Before administering medication, it is important we review the medication that has been prescribed for a patient. To do this, navigate to Drug Chart in the blue Table of Content menu. Here we can see my patient has been prescribed paracetamol and morphine. Once medication has been reviewed and you are happy, to administer medication, select Medication Administration in the grey toolbar. The medication administration window will appear, asking for me to scan the patient's wristband. This helps to ensure that the medication is being given to the correct patient. If for any reason a scan is unavailable, select Next and give a reason why you are unable to scan the patient's wristband. And select Yes. Now we can see the medication that is due for administration. For me, it is morphine. To the left hand side of the medication you would like to give, select the white box to initiate a tick. As it is a controlled substance I will be giving, a witness is required. To document a witness, select the section under Result in the far right hand side, in which a pop-up will appear. In the Witness By box, input the name of the staff member who will be witnessing this administration. We can also modify the dose given here, and if for any reason medication is not given, it can be documented by clicking "Not Given" at the bottom of the page. Select OK, and a prompt will appear asking for the password of our witness. Once inputted, select OK, and a blue tick will appear to the left of our medication, indicating that this has been provisionally given. Select Sign to confirm, and refresh the drug chart. Under the given time, we can see the dosage that was administered. The last and final thing we will be doing is discharging our patient from recovery. To do this, navigate back to the peri-operative tracking board. As we are done with this patient, we can close the patient's profile to access our tracking board. Once on the tracking board, double-click the In Recovery box under Status to access the Case Tracking Set Events window. Select Recovery on the left-hand side. Select Ready for Discharge, and then Discharge from Recovery. Then click OK in the bottom right hand corner, and now our patient has been discharged from recovery. This should only be done once our patient is physically ready to be discharged from recovery back to the ward.